What is domestic violence? Domestic violence is a pattern of behavior in a relationship that is used by one partner in order to gain control and power over another partner. Intimidation, isolation, fear, manipulation, threats are all used during this process of terror. Domestic violence happens to all people in all walks of life, regardless of age, race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, profession, whatever. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience some type of domestic violence in their lifetime. They could be directly involved, or they could have witnessed it as children or even as adults. If you or someone you know is experiencing this, it is important for you to know that many people have been going through this and help is available, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on in the video. Usually the most common age that domestic violence occurs is between the age of 18 and 24. And some people can experience it all the way up in their senior life, 60s and over. Most people think domestic violence always involves physical or bodily harm. That is not the case. There are other things that could be involved and be still considered domestic violence. Things like emotional, spiritual, sexual, economic abuse are also things that are a part of domestic violence. These types can be difficult to detect because they don't leave any marks or bruises. They're still domestic violence all the same. It can be downplayed by the victim or the abuser or even other people around them, but they are still forms of domestic violence. Don't forget that. Now let's examine the forms of domestic violence so we can clear things up for people. Physical abuse can look like hitting, grabbing, slapping, biting, punching, or even taking an object and assaulting someone. Emotional abuse can include verbal, any type of criticism, putting people down, belittling, shaming, guilt trips, threats, and any type of interrogation that you might place upon a person you're in a relationship with. All that's domestic violence. Sexual abuse includes forcing unwanted sexual favors, touching, kissing, forcing one to take photos of themselves nude or you having sex with them, using photos and videos as leverage, or even taking sex from them without their consent, which is rape, y'all, but it's also domestic violence. Economic abuse, making another person financially dependent on just you, placing total control over the resources that two people have together. You could forbid the other person to work. All of these are things that you use to gain control over the person. Domestic violence. All of these ways I just mentioned are domestic violence, and I wanted to make that point clear because everybody thinks domestic violence, not everybody, mostly everybody thinks domestic violence is only if somebody physically does something to someone. But it's not. Everyone deserves to be with someone that you feel safe with, that you trust, that you're not around, that you feel like might harm you, anything you might say or do. And if someone's abusing you, you deserve that not to be happening. And always remember, domestic violence is not your fault, but you have a responsibility to yourself when it happens to get out of it and seek the help that you need. There are many agencies, there are many hotlines, there are many websites on the internet that you can go to if you're feeling like you are being domestically abused and violated. Help is definitely available, but the first step has to be made by you. So please, help to end domestic violence in our society so we can live better, prosperous lives and enjoy one another, love one another, and not abuse and hurt one another. Like anything I said in this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and until next time, Libra Man is out. Have yourself a great week.